Okay, wanted to hop in here and just show you guys this tool that's super useful in n8n specifically. It's not a secret by any means, so if you guys, you may already be using it, but I just wanted to show you in case you aren't because it make your life a lot easier. So it's an n8n assistant that you can find within ChatGPT. Come up to the top left-hand corner and you can see Explore GPTs, and you'll just type in n8n and you can see there's multiple. This is just the one I've been using as of lately, and sometimes some update other faster than others, so you might want to grab a different one, but really just play around. And so all of these n8n assistants in here are, it's a large language model, but they have context. They were trained on n8n workflows, n8n nodes. As you can see, assisting in flow creation and code node coding, an expert in n8n. So it's almost like having a person that is really good at n8n that you can talk to 24/7 when you're trying to troubleshoot something. It's really good at, you can give it a screenshot. You can give it multiple screenshots and it will understand what your workflow is trying to do and understand what your node's trying to do. It can look at the error, so that kind of stuff. So it's really cool. But let me just show you. So let's say we came in here and we wanted to show me step by step how to scrape Google using an HTTP request. And so this is going to pretty much lay out the process for you. I remember the first time I was trying to use an HTTP request to scrape Google, there were these like headers, and I had different things I had to fill out that were really just making me feel overwhelmed with the whole thing. So this is going to show you like exactly what's put into each parameter. As you can see, there's definitely some stuff as far as, like I remember I had to do like a user dash agent and put in this whole string of Mozilla 5.0 agent, blah, 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 just so that Google wouldn't think I was a robot. But it's going to walk you through each node. It's going to tell you what to do. It even tells you like to go do a custom search engine and go to your console, all this kind of stuff. So it's really cool. And so, yeah, you'd get in here and you would be able to have a workflow and, take a screenshot of what you're trying to do and it'll help you fill out, everything that's going on in here, each parameter, each header, that sort of thing. So I thought maybe let's do an example where we face an error and we see how it tells us what to fix. So let me just get rid of like this real quick. We'll try to test the workflow, although I guess we have no training data. Bad request, please check the parameters. Okay, so obviously this is a pretty simple one, but let's just say we were to take a screenshot of this. So it's invalid value for context expected string got null. So obviously that's just undefined. Just a quick example of how easy it is. You would just screenshot this in here and you don't even have to explain it. It'll understand what the error is, what's going on. And like I said, this is a pretty generic use case, but in your screenshot, the error message indicates bad request with the node invalid value for content expected string got null. This usually means the text field, particularly the one where you're trying to use JSON stringify query, blah, blah, blah. And then it's going to tell you what to do, how you can adjust it, how you can make those fixes. So obviously that's pretty cool. Let's just let's throw some data in here just for an example. So it's actually going to come through, and then that way we can just make the what's it called? We can make the actual code node have the issue. And so what am I doing here again? We wanted like get me 10 CEOs. I always go back to CEOs of real estate. I don't know why it's the first thing that comes to my mind. In Chicago, that seems to be the example I always go to. Okay, so now we have this data coming through. We'll test this one again, see what happens here. So job title, yep, that's all working. And then now this code node this request might work as long as we're good here. And we're getting a big chunk of HTML, and then now this code node is not going to work, and this is where the issue is. So, I got this code generated for me by this n8n assistant. I have a very, very limited coding knowledge, so definitely not going to be in here coding this whole node, but let's see what it says as far as this error and see if it can help us out. It's not perfect, but it's better than, trying to guess yourself. So if you watch that Google scraping video, so pretty much this one that I'm running through right now, I used this assistant to make the code for me, and I had to give it screenshots, probably 2 or 3 times and change something and go back. But anyways, the error you're encountering in the code node cannot read properties of undefined suggests that the unexpected data from HTTP request node is not accessible. So it understands what's going on here. So verify the output of the HTTP request node, adjust the code to match the actual output structure. So it's going to talk about the content that we're getting back and how we can fix it. So right here, you can see it already fixed it. We took out that node thing, and that's the syntax is very specific to what's it called, n8n, because let's see, if we go in here, basically this is telling us that we need to reference the previous node. So it's like a $ node, and then it's going to show now we're referencing HTTP request, which is this node, and then from HTTP request we want the data, so JSON.data. So that should work now. As you can see, that came back, but like in n8n, it has some specific things. Like let's just grab one of these. Actually, we don't even need to do that. We can come in here. Execute previous node. Let's actually put it here, just so we can actually see the stuff coming through. So we have different nodes to call, right? And so JSON.data is going to be the one that you're just coming from. So if you want to call stuff from code, it's going to be JSON dot, because it's right here. But if we wanted to call something from HTTP request, we couldn't just do, we couldn't do, it has to be an expression. We can do JSON.data because it's undefined. But if we did JSON.LinkedIn URL, we would be getting, okay, why am I'm blanking. Hold on, let's see what it is. I swear I had that typed in, but either way, you guys, I'll watch the recording back and see what I did wrong. Probably just a stupid typo. But anyways, JSON.LinkedIn is calling the code. But if we wanted to call this guy, the data, we couldn't do it by JSON.data, as you saw. So we'd have to like reference the previous node. So if you see here, we can see earlier nodes. So it would be, you could do the OpenAI node, and then you can do execute trigger. But if we did this one, so now we're looking for stuff within here, and then we could do .json.data, or I don't even know if we need this. No, okay, it's because it's not in the parentheses. So .data. Okay, so then once you're within this, we have very specific ways that you need to call stuff. So for example, if we wanted to call this one from the code node, we could do JSON.LinkedIn URL, and it's a lowercase l, it looks like. There we go. So now we're seeing the information coming back here, but we couldn't do this for the HTTP request because it was 2 nodes prior. So, as you can see, if we did data, nothing's going to come through, even though HTTP request right here, we see it as data. What we'd have to do is we come in here and we see now there's earlier nodes, HTTP request. So that's how you'd have to call it. And obviously it's not that hard because we just have to drag it in, and that's how it works. So that's super simple. But the point there I was trying to make really is that there's specific ways that you have to reference things with, your JavaScript or within a code node that's very specific to n8n, rather than if you just grabs like a regular GPT 4.0, yeah, it's going to help you with coding, but they may not have the same way it works in JavaScript for n8n or Python or anything like that. We could even, obviously, like, it's very good at understanding pictures. So this is kind of a messy looking workflow, as you can see. We'll just paste this in here, hit enter, and we'll just see what it says. It's probably just going to break down what we're doing, at least what it thinks we're doing. It'll probably talk about that we're reaching out to Google. We have an execute workflow trigger. So execute workflow trigger, OpenAI. The node appears to be using OpenAI to generate a response, process information. It's going to give you some warnings. Important, if you're using Google's website directly, keep in mind that Google discourages scraping. So don't want to get the IP blocked. Code node, edit fields, 2 instances, as you can see, Google Sheets. And then it's going to give you suggestions and things that you could do to make your workflows better. So like I said, just if you're trying to get some help and you're not getting responses from certain people, or you're not getting the information you need, definitely check this kind of stuff out, especially just for simple, quick troubleshooting issues. But yeah, hopefully that was informative. When I found out about that, I was like, this is awesome. And I started using it a ton. But yeah, just wanted to hop in here and make a quick video to make sure that you guys knew about that for this upcoming week. if you're working on some n8n projects and stuff like that. But that's all I got. Thanks, guys.